NR here, and yes, you guys are watching my first podcast ever, and we are talking about the KOF franchise. Me and Rich talk about the KOF franchise. He's a big fan of the KOF series. I'm also a fan of the KOF series, but not as big as him. Just gonna let you know, this is more of a disclaimer than anything. We have no idea what we're doing. This is our first podcast, and at the same time, we don't know any of the etiquette or the equipment. So just letting you guys know that it's a very amateur hour podcast. Also, Rich's mic has been going in and out, so I actually had to clip some of the dead silence in the video. But hopefully you guys enjoy it. Next time I do a podcast, I'm going to get a little bit more prepared, a little bit more professional, and hopefully you enjoy it. So without further ado, enjoy the cast. Hello, people. This is NR, aka No Rhythm, and this is my first very amateurish podcast. And today we are going to be talking about what we're talking about. We're talking about KOF, the KOF series, a very influential series in the FGC. And today we have Rich, or Seto, but I like to call him my dirty coach because he's always beating me over the head with a fucking pipe. Say hello, Rich.
Hello, how's it going? Sorry, I have like a tickle in my throat. I think I'm getting some sort of cold. But let's talk about King of Fighters. And yes, I do use the Dirty Coach in Street Fighter V with Cody, but it's not easy. It's tough, especially when I'm dealing with NR's shenanigans with his dirty Alex. He's even dirty. No, Alex is just dirty. He's just disrespectful, and he's rude, and he wears a headband for no reason. So no, I don't like it.
First of all, that headband's to prevent sweat and preventing him to get more dirty. Also, it's to keep his locks away from his face. But Street Fighter's not the case. We're gonna be talking about Street Fighter's what is the term? Is it the ginger-haired stepson?
Yeah, I mean, they were really SNK was really prominent in the 90s. I gotta give some backstory about this as well, but the creators of Fatal Fury actually worked on Street Fighter 1 and Street Fighter 2, and they left the company, they left Capcom, and they formed the Fatal Fury division, and they made Fatal Fury 1. And ever since then, they just started going yearly increments of their franchises. They had Fatal Fury, Art of Fighting, Samurai Shodown, World Heroes, many more. Many more. But those being the flagship titles in the early 90s. But yeah, I guess you call them the sister or redhead stepchild as well to the fighting game scene. I, for one, always prefer, this is kind of crazy. I always prefer the SK games because they have a deeper learning curve, and it's kind of hard to be fraudulent in SK fighting games. But we'll discuss that as we go further in this conversation today.
Oh yeah, definitely. Seeing that's why I kind of have you here today, Rich. Not only that you're one of the inner circle and also my mod, but at the same time you really show your passion when it comes to SNK titles, especially the King of Fighters series. I believe it's you, Sofu, and Noble who are very open about SNK and King of Fighters. And I'm just curious, like what when did you start, like when did you pick up a Neo Geo machine and say, "Yep, this is my game"? Like
it's funny because the Neo Geos are super expensive. Even to this day, they're pricey. The first time I even played an SNK game was possibly Fatal Fury for the Sega Genesis. My cousin had it, and once again, we had a Genesis and Super NES, and we didn't have a Neo Geo because they're like $400 back then, and the games were like $80. But they were arcade perfect, which is like, even to this day, that's kind of like unheard of because you get these like dirty emulations nowadays when they port a game over, to like the PSN or Xbox services. You get a watered down version of the game.
Yeah.
Even with the Street Fighter collection, Alpha collection that came recently, or the Street Fighter Anniversary collection.
Oh yeah, no, that was
out.
horrendous. Like that is
Terrible.
horrendous. We don't speak about that.
No, I mean that's only made for offline play. I can attest that I have the Arcade Perfect collection of the Alpha series in my house. So, and one of the best ones actually is for the Dreamcast, but that's not important right now. But the thing about that is that SNK took pride is that their machine, their Neo Geo, cost a lot of money, but what you got out of it, you got an Arcade Perfect game. Like, so what you got at home, you got something in the arcades. So it's maybe like 92, I played Fatal Fury, and my cousin is a huge fan of Terry Bogard. He even had like a cheapo red hat he put on the front, Fatal Fury, and we used to pretend that he was Terry and I was Joe Higashi.
Joe Higashi.
Joe Higashi was pretty cool because when you're young, you think about like nowadays when you're an adult playing fighting games, you can like throw a fireball, you can do like a complex command grab, but when you're like 7 years old, you're like, whoa, I just did a power wave for the first time. I'm like the best player in the planet, and actually you're actually trash, but you don't know anything about it.
Oh yeah, no, you're yeah. That's trust me, everyone felt like that when when you were playing a fighting game when you were young. Like my first fighting game ever, like the first video game I played was Marvel Superheroes from Capcom, and I remember doing my first Spidey swing, and I'm just like, I am amazing, I'm the best. I'm just gonna keep on doing this till I reach Thanos.
I'm amazing Spider-Man. I am spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah, I am the spectacular motherfucking Spider-Man. But yeah, it's that's the one thing what fighting games did to a lot of us as kids and stuff like that. It's just like when you do those hidden complex moves, it's just like, oh, I could do this. This is amazing. I could shoot fire, or I could jump off walls. I don't know. That's like that's the joy about fighting games. It started as a spectacle, and now it's fully competitive. But yeah, so
it's going to be in the Olympics next year.
Oh god. Yeah, it's getting hype.
Yeah, real hype.
Yeah.
I actually first started playing the King of Fighters. I played it first for the PlayStation 1, and I bought it because it was actually on sale for like $20 because I couldn't afford Super Street Fighter Turbo Collection they had going on.
Mm-hmm.
And because it was like $40 and I had like a set amount of money I can do. And I went down to New York City because that's where I'm from. And I had this like local gaming shop they had there, and they had like all the walls of games there. And I go, oh, and I remember the cover art had this young Japanese kid with a white headband on. I'm like, oh, he's like a Ryu clone. We done it already, with the art of fighting. So I was like, you know what? I'll give it a chance, So I pick up this game and I bring it home. And I'm like, wait, you could do 3-on-3 fighting? That's insane. Oh, that's crazy. And I remember the lead character of the story, Kyo Kusanagi, was like, he really stood out to me because he's like this little delinquent. He, like me, he hated school, and he was like arrogant, but since he had like a heart of gold, to a degree.
Yeah.
And his story arc was they didn't really flesh it out in 94 because 94 was supposed to, this little size piece here as well, a little trivia for you guys, but it's supposed to be a one and done game. So SNK, they had, like I said earlier, they have Fatal Fury, their flagship franchise at the time, Terry Bogard being the mascot, and then they had Art of Fighting, which was selling really well. Art of Fighting 1 did well because people were not aware that Geese Howard had a backstory. So Art of Fighting was doing really well because it took place in the past. But SNK, people were saying, like, how do we bring our big hitters, how do we bring Rio and Terry Bogard in the same universe? Because if we do that...
Oh, you there? You kind of cut off. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like Rich kind of... Yeah, you kind of cut off there.
You still there?
Yeah, and you cut off.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. So yeah, I would say like SK was saying, how do we bring Terry Bogard and Rio into this game without making them like 50-year-old men? Because the thing about fighting games, right? People want change, but they don't want they want to admit it though. I know I won't admit it either, but I don't want my characters to actually grow up.
Yeah, no, it's that's the thing about fighting games, and that's the thing what I felt that Street Fighter, it always goes back to Street Fighter, Street Fighter, or like even to extent MK, is that they did kind of a risk to aging up the characters, and for Street Fighter, they started in the middle ground, and then like they went to the Alpha series where are much younger, and now we have like older Ryu, Ken, and like Chun Li, and everyone's like, damn, we feel old. But
Yeah,
for the King of Fighters, I could tell that they were really targeting like a younger crowd, like
yeah.
looking at King of Fighters, like what I see, I could tell that all these people are supposed to be young, bombastic. They're definitely look like they came from like a shonen anime, especially like I have a feeling some of them are very have some influence from like from JoJo and stuff like that, and Yu Yu Hakusho. I
we can discuss that.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm rambling.
We got trivia going on today for this conversation about my plethora of useless SNK knowledge.
Yeah.
All
So,
But so what happened with SNK? They did bring they brought so the thing that kept Rio and Terry together was the fact that they both fought in Southtown. They both fought against Geese Howard at one point in life, and also they both entered and won the King of Fighters series, their championship during their games. So SNK was like, well, the common motto is King of Fighters, so we do like a one-off game, and we'll see how it does. So SNK was like, we gotta create a character that can go toe to toe with these two heroes, because
like
you don't want to like have, who could stop them. So they made this character who could control fire, who was 19 years old, and that was Kyo. And they gave him his partners, the Judo Japan World Champion Goro Diamond.
Goro
and
Diamond.
Also, and also Benimaru Nikaido, who's that's not really Kyo's rival, but Benimaru, sees Kyo as his rival because they fought and Kyo has beaten him every single time.
Mm-hmm.
But Benimaru has, it's actually some trivia here with Benimaru. He actually has influences. The creator of the people from SK are big fans of JoJo.
Oh yeah.
So,
I know where you're going to lead to. Polaref.
Yeah, exactly. So they actually modeled him a little bit off of that character, and also too, you familiar with the Getter Robo series by any chance?
The what now?
Getter Robo.
No,
Getter
I don't
Robo
think so.
Super robot anime that came out in the 70s, made by this guy named Go Nagai.
Oh, dude, I know Go Nagai.
He made Devilman and Mazinger.
Yeah. So Ghetto Robo. No, I never heard that one. Like, yeah. God.
So Getter Robo is actually one of the first it's actually the first show ever in history that actually had combining mecha into one. So there's Getter One
before Voltron.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, Voltron came out in the 80s.
So I thought it was 70s.
Nope, it was 81, I believe, was Voltron. I could be wrong, but it definitely was 80s. But Getter Robo was the 70s.
Yeah.
So Getter Robo had these 3 pilots, and they had Getter 1, 2, and 3. So Getter 1 was able to fly and use like a battle axe. Getter 2 could fly and also use like a drill, and Getter 3 is strong. It's so basically Getter 1 was balanced, right?
Just to get straight, just because you kind of cut off there again. So they got the idea. So they just got the idea for Team Japan from like from a combining mecha series.
Yep, Getter Robo.
Robo. All right, so
Getter Robo.
Okay, that's it's Getter Robo. Okay, all right.
Yep.
So that so you started did you start KOF? Like you started KOF? I think I'm sorry, I'm barely listening just because there's a stupid fly in my room. But you said that you got into it around 94, like the beginning.
Yep. I saw the character and I picked him up, and I thought he was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I liked his attitude, and also like the fact that I could fight against Terry and Rio in a new game. In the art design was very different from the old sprites from Fatal Fury and also Art of Fighting. I was really taken back with the with the artwork, and also it's what it actually had me do as I got older in my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Characters in the game like Athena and Sai Kenzo, Ralph and Clark, people like that in the game. I went back, in my life to actually play their older games. So
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even aware that Ralph and Clark were in a game before called Ikari Warriors that takes place in the same universe as Metal Slug.
Yeah.
And I wasn't aware of that Athena is actually
A reincarnation of like a goddess or something.
yeah,
like that.
of a goddess Athena. And I wasn't. It's a lot going on here, but I mean, we can.
Oh yeah, no, they're like we could talk about that around like character designs or like plots or something like that. That's because no, like The one thing about the King of Fighters is, as you said, like it's basically just a compilation of all their SNK characters or fighting games just merged into one and given a story, a very very long story. What we'll be talking about later.
So I mean, we could start with the first saga.
yeah.
You could discuss the Orochi saga. Probably.
Oh yeah, true. So I'm just gonna put my 2 cents here because I kind of started myself a little late on the King of Fighters train. Some of you guys may already know that I got into fighting games but I was never into the community, and a lot of people who I had friends who played video games weren't into fighting games. It was near like the dark age of fighting games during the time around like early 2000s. But the one thing I where was I going with this? Fuck. Oh yeah. So the one thing is that I started the King of Fighters off pretty late myself, and I only started during the NES saga, and I started playing King of Fighters 99. And and actually, because I started playing King of Fighters 99, the first thing I said to myself was, this thing is a straight up fucking rip off of Street Fighter. And if you ever played King of Fighters 99, the original copy, it was very lacking in UI and like design. So when you played it like the character select screen was really bland. And the loading time was pretty crap. They actually had to re-release the game, I believe.
As Evolution.
Yeah, they had to re-release the game because it wasn't really to good standard. I was playing the PS1 version, and the thing is that what I gathered from it when I was playing it, I was like, okay, there's people who could throw has pyrokinesis, and there's a lot of them, and they're fighting this secret organization called NES who build cyborgs. So I was like, is this what King of Fighters is all about? And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then later down in the years, I found that King of Fighters actually had 94, 95, and 97, not counting 98. That's a dream fight. But the one thing I said to myself, I always saw it as, technology. Let's go martial arts versus technology for the longest while. But I was completely blind with the Orochi saga. So you know a little bit more about the Orochi saga than me. I only got snippets of the Orochi saga. I know what it goes down, but I'll let you take the reins on this one. Sorry about that. We went through a bit of technical difficulties. Keep in mind that this is a very amateurish broadcast. So, like I was saying, I'll let you, because like I said, there's a lot of things in the Orochi saga what happened, and a lot of people really likes that saga. I'll let you take over. And stuff like that. You have better knowledge with the Orochi saga.
Yeah. So, KF 994 wasn't really. It wasn't a true story, but there was story elements in there. So I'll just cut to the chase. Basically, the winners of that saga of that year was Team Japan, Kyo, Benimaru, and Goro. They fought Rugal, who is this amazing villain.
The best villain.
He's dangerous and he's so cheap. He's the cheapest boss in history. I don't care.
Genocide kata.
And Kaiser Wave, all that crap.
Wait.
Beat him.
I have a question. Does Krauser and him have any relation? Because that's Krauser's move, Kaiser Wave.
So Rugal can learn a move by watching it just once.
Oh, so he's that type of dude.
Yeah,
okay.
So he actually watched Krauser and Terry Bogard fight, and he was impressed by his power. But he said that he could do the Kaiser Wave much more efficiently. And also when he was watching Geese Howard's videos, he saw how Geese went through the Reppuken, and he used that to his benefit.
All right. Yeah. No. That's also. Yeah. I'm actually. I don't know. I just thought for some reason I didn't think about that. I just thought that he was trained under these guys.
No,
for the longest while because I was but
yeah,
no.
Actually,
oh, sorry.
Yeah, he's actually a drug dealer. He's a drug dealer and also weapons dealer. Not a good guy.
Okay. Okay. Drug dealer, weapons dealer, dresses in red. I'm starting to feel a theme here. But yeah, no, fucking Rugal is actually one of my favorite fighting game villains. I main him in Capcom vs SNK, and ironically, just a little tidbit, Mean Sofu had a name for his where you do for his fly kick, for his heavy fly kick in the air, where he just crosses his arms and just like fucking boots you in the face. Me and him just coincidental called it the pimp kick.
Yeah, he definitely does it, man.
Yeah, he does.
And you know, his taunt is like he like flexes his muscles and smacks them too. Like, come on, dude. You know, we know you work out.
Oh man, it's like, bro, do you even lift?
Just everything.
Yeah.
But so Rugal, being the sore loser that he is, right, being defeated by a 19-year-old kid, self detonates the Black Noah. That's the name of his ship. He detonates it, and he's presumed dead. We flash for a year later. Kyo and the gang, they're hailed as celebrities. People are impressed with their power. Kyo's arrogant because he said he defeated this guy, you know, he's going to outclass his dad and so forth. His dad then goes to find Rugal, but he is captured and brainwashed by Vice. Vice being one of Rugal's secretaries.
Yeah, the sexy secretaries.
Yes, they are quite attractive young ladies. They also a little tidbit here. There's a clan that's the most frequent group in KOF is actually the Hakusho, and the Hakusho is actually the servants of Orochi. So there are three treasures in King of Fighters, right? Kyo Kusanagi has the Kusanagi sword. Yuri Yagami has the Yasakani jewel, and Chizuru Kagura has the mirror.
Yeah.
So these three jewels can actually seal Orochi. Orochi is actually the embodiment of all that's evil in the planet and in the world. So as long as one shred of evil exists in the world, Orochi is going to exist.
Yeah. I was gonna bring up. I later on found out that's basically a very ancient Japanese folktale, and those three treasures you mentioned are real, actually.
Yes, I'm aware. It's pretty good stuff, though. I kind of there's a lot of thought that goes into these character and designs, which I like a lot. So, during that little gap between 1994 and 95, there's one herald of the Hakusho, Leopold Genitz, who's actually the boss of 96. He found Rugal and he gave him a fraction of Orochi power. So that is why in 95 Rugal came back to life in his gigantic form, and he's way more powerful. He's called Omega Rugal, and he has all this power to basically, long story short, right? Kyo beats his dad, who was brainwashed. He saves his father's life, and right after that, his anger, he rushes at Rugal and he defeats him. Rugal cannot contain the Orochi power because he's not of the Orochi lineage. So, and he basically just evaporates. He destructs from the inside. 95 was also the first game to feature a couple of things. It first introduced us to a Yuri Yagami, Kyo's main rival for the whole series, and we also got to meet. We also got to have, for the first time in the series, actually, you can have a team edit. Now, in 94, if you wanted to use Terry Bogard, you had to use Terry Bogard, Andy, and Joe together if you want to do like a 3-on-3 match. This was actually the game you should play, say, hey, I want to have the SK Heroes. I want to have Kyo and Terry and Rio together on like one team or whatever. You could have any team that you wanted. So that was pretty big. and also it had team endings too as well. So the canonical team ending for this, right, is Kyo beats Rugal, he evaporates, and he is gone. So we follow Kyo and the gangs again. A few was past, right? Once again, Kyo being the 20-year-old, he's now 20 years old during this time period. He's only aged once in the whole series, and that was just 1 year, 19 to 20. That's all of them, actually.
Forever 20.
Forever 20. So he during the time period, he gets found out by Leopold Genitz. He finds him and he beats him soundly. Like, he beats him, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let you know, Leopold Gennis is a cheap ass motherfucker. Like,
he is.
No, I hate that guy. I played a lot of Mugen with him, and let's just say that calling down fucking like tornadoes is the most bullshit thing I ever saw in a video game, and then you can't even predict it.
I'd rather fight Genitz than fight Igneous. But anyway, so
continue.
That's the next saga. So Leopold Genitz, and he defeats Kyo Kusanagi, and Kyo then rethinks. He says, this art has been around for 1,800 years. He means the Kusanagi fighting style. He's like, it's time that someone actually updates to some skills. So in 94 and 95, he's had basically these same moves, right? He's had the standard SK ground fireball. He had the uppercut, around his body.
The whirly dirty.
And he also had whirly dirty. He had his double kicks.
Mm-hmm.
He had his 3 kicks, spinning kicks in the air, and also his running grab. So Kyo was like, I need to get new moves to beat this new enemy, because our enemies are getting stronger, and we can't stay the same forever. And this is why this actually is the first game, and also the move set, so that will change a lot for almost every character every so often. This is when Kyo got his chain combos, his light combos, his record combos, and also when he got his RED kick, which he named the RED kick. Those letters mean Rainbow Energy Dynamite Kick. He named it himself. He thinks he's a poet.
Hell?
Yeah. So the backstory is that Kyo believes that he's a really, really good poet, but he's terrible. He's not a good poet.
Kyo Kusanagi, the pyrokinesis, headband wearing, Rugal beating son of a bitch, is a poet.
But he's terrible at it.
Oh.
But no one tells him he's bad. So he names, for example, too, right? His light punch combos are named after the elements in Japanese folklore,
mm-hmm.
and like what's this called? I think the wind push of eloquence. I forget how it goes, but it's pretty bad. I translated it like years ago when I was like super like weeboing out for this guy, which I still do. During that time period, on the other side of Japan was Yuri Yagami, and he actually was sought out by Rugal's secretaries, Vice Mature, who actually survived. Now, in 95, the reason why Yuri was looking for new teammates was because he wants to kill Kyo because of his blood pact. Mm-hmm. So the Yagami clan, they actually used to be called the Yasakani, but they made a pact with Orochi to basically get more power, and that's why Yuri's flames are purple, because they're tainted with Orochi's influence.
Yeah.
Also, Yuri's mom died at childbirth, because that's the curse of the Orochi, that every Yagami female who marries will die at childbirth.
Aww.
That's the price that they pay for. And also, the Yagami men will die young as well. But Yuri's still 20, and it's been about 20 plus years of King of Fighters. But that's not important right now. What's important is
it's not important right now. Well, let's just say if SNK ever wants to age the characters in the new game and stuff like that, Yuri most likely would have to take a life insurance policy.
We'll call him State Farm for sure. He was sought out by Vice Mature, who were both actual heralds of Orochi, part of the Hakusho. So during time period, we also got to see another member of the Hakusho, another member from the Fatal Fury side of the house, Ryuji Yamazaki. So his blood, right, makes him insane. So his arms that stretch kind of long, they're called snake arms. That's because his blood is tainted by Orochi. He's so insane that Orochi's influence on him, right, is standard. Like he doesn't even see a difference at all. So that's how crazy he is.
It's like I'm fine. I don't listen to evil snake demons who whisper into my ear.
Exactly.
That's normal. Don't you hear that?
In the last person, and I'm pretty sure it was last person to have the influence of Orochi in '96 was Leona Hydern. Leona Hydern is actually the adopted daughter of Hydern, the colonel of the Ikari Warriors.
Oh yeah, I actually learned. Yeah, she's what I like to call a scary bitch.
She's the best. She's the best girl in King of Fighters. I think so.
Yeah,
gameplay wise.
Yeah, I would say that she's also she's pretty good. I would say that she's one of the top tier. But yeah, like I heard that she also has the same thing with Iori. Like she has the blood curse thing. Like she goes crazy.
Her father Gaiden was killed by Genets.
Oh god.
So she vendetta against Genets. Genets then fed her tainted blood of Orochi, thus tainting her blood. So she actually has a issue when she can become Orochi Leona, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But the tournament was started. '96 was hosted by Chizuru Kagura because she wanted to let Iori and Kyo know that, hey, this tournament, by the way, you guys need to pay where you're fighting because the world needs us to become the Sacred Treasures team again. Iori and Kyo, being the assholes that they both are, didn't want to agree to working together because Iori wants to kill Kyo and Kyo just hates Iori because he wants to kill him. So they agree that they'll deal with Genets together, but that's it and never again. So they defeat Genets. Chizuru, Iori, and Kyo, they defeat him, and then Chizuru tells Kyo that you can't escape your destiny, and Kyo's like, I don't care about this crap, I'm blue in destiny, I make my own path, and he's walked off and left her alone. So the next year in '97, we had another team join. They're called the New Faces team, led by this band, CYS.
Oh yeah, CYS. I know them.
Yeah, Chris, Yashiro, and Shermie, the New Face team, and probably one of the most popular teams.
You cut off again.
Taco Show, who work in the background.
I'm sorry, like I said, you cut off again. So just repeat that whole sentence you had. The most popular team. Yeah.
They're one of the most popular teams in the whole franchise. I mean, I love seeing these guys, come back, and I want them to come back real soon. Hopefully in 2020, they come back.
I want Shermie back.
Shermie is actually, okay, we'll talk about that later. I'll keep jumping ahead of things, but anyway, they entered and they captured Kyo's girlfriend, Yuki, who's actually a descendant of a shrine maiden, who was going to be the reincarnation of Orochi. Once again, the ultimate evil. Basically, the official canon story to this, the official canonized team that won was Iori, Kyo, and Chizuru Kagura. They defeated Orochi by sealing him away. This is because when Orochi tried to possess Iori, because Iori went into the riot of the blood state, when he comes like super fast and powerful, and he becomes like a mindless killing machine, he took it over. But Iori had enough control to grab Orochi by the neck, and then Kyo charged up his 180. It's called 182 ways. This gigantic flame punch, and he punches through Orochi's chest, sealing him. Using the power of his sword. The Kusanagi sword that's embedded in his spirit. So he defeats him. So '98 is actually a dream match, which we're not even going to go into because in a dream match, the dream match happens at the end of every story arc. So people who have died in the story arc or people who have not been absent for a little bit can come back. Hence why you will see Rugal in every dream match. Yeah,
and Krauser and Geese. So
Krauser and Geese in its continuity, they are not dead because the events of Fatal Fury Special never happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was the thing I was always like scratching my head about, and I was just like, okay, why is Geese back in King of Fighters 14 if he's supposed to be 6 feet under? And
him and Krauser and Mr. Big were actually the boss team in '96.
Oh. Really now?
So I was surprised too because that same year, Fatal Fury Special came out and it said the tagline of that game said "Goodbye Geese," his final game. I'm like, so he's fucking dead. So I was like, but it's fine because once again, Guitar is a fan favorite.
Yeah.
So you just keep the same reason why they always bring back Bison, because he's a fan favorite.
Oh yeah, remember when they removed Bison from a Street Fighter game? Yeah.
Not fun.
Yeah, that was fun. People had to learn how to parry. But yeah, no, yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing. One thing I would want to lead up to, and as you could tell, me and you were just kind of gushing about certain characters. Are of course the fucking characters of SNK. Or should I say King of Fighters? Is just like, I don't know. There's something about them was just like so fucking likable.
Because and this is why I tell my friends all the time, the fact that they all have a character arc. They all have their own little stories that play out in each game, and that's why it's so much fun to read the manga. Like this is some deep stuff. They have manga. They have audio drama seasons. They have audio books as well.
Are you serious? Really?
Yeah. Based on the character. There's actually a side story to King of Fighters 97 called King of Fighters Kyo that came out only in Japan, and it shows Kyo learning his moves after he gets beat by Genets, and explains why he learned these new moves and the flame punch combos and so forth. It's a whole game dedicated to him training up to 97. It's a pretty popular game.
Wow.
Never came to America.
Yeah, and, I know that. I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
There's a little side story here, but this actually is there's a game called Samurai Shodown RPG that came out in America and Japan years ago, and it's actually pick Hamuro, the main character of that series, and you go into a southern Japanese village.
Mm-hmm.
You can see two characters, training together. They look a lot like Kyo and Yuri. That's actually their ancestors too. So they're like,
okay.
They've always been around. Don't forget these guys. They've been here forever.
Yeah. So history repeats itself.
So we can. So what happened during that time? And pretty soon it's going to lead up to Nets, and I'll let you explain the Nets saga of that amazing story arc right there.
I'm definitely going to be paraphrasing it, because if we're going to be talking about the arcs, the arcs we're going to be here forever. But yeah, no, I'll definitely bring up the Ness. I'm just gonna be paraphrasing some of. I'll just be cutting it. I'll do a bridge version because, geez.
No, man, it's fine.
Yeah.
So once they defeated Orochi, Iori and Kyo were knocked out pretty clean. And what happened during that time period was somebody kidnapped our main character.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, who could it be? God damn it.
Here.
Yeah, okay, before I jump into the whole Nest thing, this is something what I have to talk about, was just like, it involves fighting games in general. A lot of people say that fighting games can't really hold up a good story. It's, I think at one point someone said that fighting games is kind of like having, it's like a porn, it's like giving porno a story. It's like, we're not there for the story. We're there for them titties or dicks or whatever. Not my words. But the thing is that as I actually started to look up King of Fighters, I'm like, this shit is deep. And as you mentioned in the games, and mentioning that there's audio dramas and audiobooks, when I'm actually kind of flipping out about it, I'm just like, wow, they're able to keep a consistent story for this long and make it work and give it arcs.
Yep. And there's also a soundtrack too, that every year they put out, because guess what? They play instruments. People like Iori and Kyo, they play instruments on the audio CDs as well. So you can they have something called the Audio of Fighters as well, and also Band of Fighters. So there's a CD that gets released every year by SNK, starring your favorite heroes singing backup vocals or playing instruments as well. Even our friend Terry Borger plays the tuba. So it's
fucking tuba.
In honor of his Smash his Smash rollout pretty soon. He should be looking forward to his tuba playing.
Oh
So, before I let NR talk about the amazing saga of Ness, which I was at first not a big fan of because I was biased to having someone else be the lead focal point of a story, I will explain why that happened. It's because SNK wanted to kill off Yuri and Kyo. They wanted to do the Third Strike route. Now, Street Fighter Third Strike, the only people from who came, sorry, not Third Strike, Street Fighter 3, the main character story was Alex of that story arc. The overall protagonist of the Street Fighter series is Ryu. Kyo is the overall hero of King of Fighters, but each saga has a new person that we follow. But Kyo is the most winningest person in the whole franchise. Even when he's not even the focal point of it, he's still the focus. I can't explain it. He's never not the main focal point. He's always going to be involved at some degree. Mm-hmm. So SK want to get rid of Yuri and Kyo, kind of like they want, because Capcom want to get rid of Ken and Ryu, but there was a lot of fan backlash from Capcom at Capcom that they added them back in within 6 months going back to development. So that's why you can see some things in Street Fighter 3 that make no sense. Like, for example, like there's not actually a real ending to the game. They did it like Alpha. They kept retconning the ending every year for no reason. Yeah. So if you actually if you have the PS1 version of King of Fighters 99,
mm-hmm.
you don't. Some copies, I think the first copy, the first release of that game, you can't pick Kyo and Yuri. You have to like unlock them because SK were hiding them because they said, hey, these two died in 97. You know, that's what everybody thought. But with that being said, I will pass the Ness saga over to my good friend NR. He can just tell you about the amazing Illuminati conspiracies that is Nest. Enjoy.
Yes. All right. So because it's been a while since I actually went through the Nest saga, and compared to the Orochi saga, it's not too big and grand. But essentially where Rich left off was Kyo and Yuri being knocked out and taken somewhere. Kyo wakes up in a laboratory surrounded by machines and stuff like that, and he doesn't know where he is. He later on finds out that he's been captured by some organization what is cloning him. The organization of this organization's name, Ness. I do not know what that's supposed to mean though, but essentially it just sounded cool. Do you know do you know what it's supposed to mean, Ness?
Well, Ness is actually the name of the head of the company.
Oh, so, is it like an acronym?
Just Ness.
I don't know. I was thinking of like networking, energy source, whatever. But the point being is that they were a secret. Criminal organization, very heavily built around cybernetics, technology, and so on. And their main plan is to take over the world. And seeing how Kyo and Iori did in Last King of Fighters, they decided to clone Kyo, seeing that his pyrokinesis had a lot of potential for their world conquest. Kyo actually, this is actually the first time that Kyo actually got a design change. Actually, he lost the headband and donned the white jacket with the dark sun instead of his school uniform.
Yep. So he did that because the clones were wearing his classic costume, and he wanted to show everybody that he was the original Kyo, and that he wanted to make Ness pay for capturing him for over a year, and doing it and making 9,999 clones of him. So that's why.
Oh fuck! I remember that. Okay, so yeah, like I said, some details I actually do left out, but yeah, they made a fuck ton of Kyos, but at the same time, Ness probably should have gave them more than fucking school uniforms. I don't know. Maybe they were cheaper or something like that. Than just giving them like military outfit. No, they actually gave them some, like, they actually dressed them up in soldier gear in, like, some of the cutscenes.
Yep. And then we're going to invade Southtown. They were going to do that, but you can continue your story.
Yeah. So during this time, Kyo just went in hiding. Team Japan was semi disbanded, and then when the King of Fighters tournament, the new King of Fighters tournament came around, there was the members of Team Japan that there was only one. What's his name again? You just mentioned the guy who looks like Polnareff. I can't pronounce his name for the life of me. Benimaru. Yeah, yep. Benimaru and Kyo fanboy Shingo. I miss Shingo.
He's coming back.
Yeah, Benimaru and Shingo joined the team with ex-NES let's go again, agents known as K-Dash and Massimo. And K-Dash is supposed to be, as we know, the perfect clone of Kyo. The only downside, white hair, dark skin, and to be honest, he doesn't really look like Kyo. And Massimo is just one big fuck off cyborg. The only issue with K-Dash is that he cannot fully control pyrokinesis. He can only do it towards his right hand, which is fully mechanical. So he's essentially he's essentially some sort of prototype. But in the beginning, we see it seems like he's the perfect clone, but he isn't. Kind of the whole Metal Gear Solid Snake, Liquid Snake kind of bullshit. If I'm not mistaken.
That's actually perfect.
Huh?
That's funny. That's actually perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah. But now the King of Fighters tournament, they actually changed it up. So instead of teams of threes, it was teams of four. And the fourth person will be a striker, aka a support. And this is one thing I really liked about the game when I played, was like I kind of liked the fact that if you wanted to get, the proper ending to a team, you had to play the full team. And if there was a character you really, really didn't like, you just made him do bitch work, what was basically striker. And depending, it's true.
No, because like Shingo striker action, he like runs in and grabs your legs and you can't move. That's why it's so.
I know it's stupid, but it works. I don't know what. So during there was all to be honest, like so during the story, Team K-Dash, I don't know what team they were called. They were also being hunted by the Ikari Warriors, being accompanied by a new member called Whip. Man, SNK, the names.
Whip and her Whip Voodoo.
And wait. What do you mean by Whip Voodoo? Is that actually a thing? Because right now, ever since you told me that Kyo's a poet, now I'm actually thinking.
So Whip's whip is named Voodoo. And she's really particular about it. Like, you do not make fun of her whip, or she will shoot you.
Oh yeah. Oh. Another thing I would like to bring up. I think it was her down heavy punch or something, or down heavy kick. I don't know what's the equivalent to SNK. But essentially, her down heavy punch was essentially she capping you in the Tims.
She will shoot you. She pulls out a gun and puts it away after she shoots you like once.
Yeah, she shoots you. But she doesn't only shoot you. She shoots your shoes. So if you're wearing your Tims, you're screwed, man.
Has a wicked hitbox, by the way, too. Like, I was surprised because if you weren't like blocking low at like maybe like 3/4 of the frame advantage she has there, she will get you, and then she can mix you up because she has like long-reaching normals. So she's a great character. She's definitely fun. I used her quite a bit in 2000, and because in that game she was broken. Actually, King of Fighters 96 in 2000 was actually the most unbalanced.
Oh, really?
I think the game is super unbalanced. Like, everybody had a death combo. I'm like, what the hell? Like, so not good. Yeah. So continue the story, sir.
So
99 series.
Yeah. So I do have to admit, during the end of the tournament where you actually fight in a sewer, what I actually thought it was actually one of the best stages in fighting game history. Just like that sewer level, like everyone hates sewer levels in video games, but that sewer level, what actually reveals to be Ness's underground spot. Like I found it was beautifully animated, and I kind of like the fact that near the final battle, you start seeing the entire stage move, and just you see you're on an elevator, and you're just like, what the fuck? This is amazing. I have to give props to that stage. I like stages like that would actually have like transition. So when Team K-Dash actually reached to the Ness's headquarters, they're about to activate all 9,000 Kyos, and the person who is meeting them is one of Ness's one of their generals, or one of their high honchos, known as Chrysalis. And Chrysalis is the real perfection of Kyo Kusanagi, but with of course white hair, dark skin, and stuff like that. But no, but for the entire time of the game, you would think that K-Dash, the person who's literally taking the show in Kingdom Fighters 99, everyone's like, wait a minute, he's supposed to be like the clone. He's supposed to be the perfect clone. He's supposed to be the cool guy. He's the badass. He has all these cool things. And he's like, nope, that would be Chrysalis. And Chrysalis, I would say as a boss, is one of the most frustrating, annoying, and unfun fights you would ever experience as a boss fight. He's actually one of the worst bosses, in my opinion, to go against, because he's a zoner. He has his stupid command dash, but actually has armor. His fucking DP has a hitbox of like 10 miles. It's just crazy, and it's really frustrating for anyone who's just casually playing going against this boss character. It's just annoying.
It's not for SK bosses are not for the faint of heart. You should know how to play the game if you're going to beat any SK boss. You better prepare to sit your ass down for a good hour or so, because it ain't going to get any easier, man. Because come from here, these bosses get harder and harder with each game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing about Chrysalis I would like to bring up, and after the Ness saga, we could we'll briefly talk about the other sagas, but I would also like to talk about the character designs. But the one thing I would have to say is that I hate the boss. I love the design of Chrysalis. I like his coat. I like his kind of like BDSM getup. I love his moveset. I love his super moveset where he just essentially sets himself on fire and dashes towards you, or just like fucking does the JoJo Uro punch at you. Yeah, but
Star Platinum.
Yeah, Star Platinum. Yeah, he basically like Star Platinums your ass. I remember that move where he just like grabs you, shoves you, and it just goes like fucking Uro. I believe he actually says that. But yeah, but at the end of the story, this is what happens. Chrysalis gets defeated, and then you realize Chrysalis is not the big bad guy. You realize that he was getting orders from above, and he gets killed by falling debris, like a bitch. And so far at this same time, the Ikari Warriors were on the heels of Team K-Dash, and I believe it was Whip. I think it was Massimo who told Whip that she's also a product of Ness. She's also a product of Ness, and he's like, "Come join us. You know, you're also a cybernetic freak. You just don't know it." And she's like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And joins them. And then the Ness saga continues. The Ikari Warriors play a big part in the Ness saga. What, to be honest, is pretty cool, because I really do like the Ikari Warriors. I think they're really interesting characters, and they're definitely like a big reference to Metal Slug. And I believe the Ikari Warriors, before they were in the King of Fighters game or in the Metal Slug game, they actually had their own game.
Yes, they did. Ralph Jones and Clark Still had their own game, Ikari Warriors 1, 2, and 3, which were super popular in the early 80s and 90s. So I have a Neo Geo X, and also Neo Geo. I'm a huge SK fan, so I have that, and actually have those games that come preloaded with it. So it's pretty nice, and those games are fun. It's definitely something you should probably play it's like SK's answer to like Contra or like any run and gun shooter. I think.
I'll definitely take a look at it. I love Contra and Metal Slug. That's like game. I eat that shit up. I actually really like that. So it's so yeah, the Ikari Warriors. I kind of like that they're like in the NES Saga. I kind of like they kind of put aside the whole like mysticism and just going against like the whole technology v martial arts. What is always something I always liked in like anime and stuff like that. Whereas like when you're watching like a shonen anime or anything, is like especially example would be Dragon Ball Z, the whole android slash cell arc.
Yeah, it's actually my favorite arc of all Dragon Ball.
It is. I love it. I love it. Like, keep in mind, Frieza and the Namek arc was really too long. Even as a kid, I just wanted it to end. But I really loved the fact, because I just gonna let you know, guys. I watched Dragon Ball first, then Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball will always have a space in my heart as one of my favorite animes of all time, and I love the fact they brought back the red ribbon, and I'm like, what? It's like,
but see, what's funny, right? Is that people didn't like the androids, so like the first androids, like Jiro and also that little clown android, they hated them. So that's why they made 1718, because they wanted someone, like you said earlier, young and hip and cool. So
yeah, to target the Gen Zers.
Yeah, seriously, because we love our cut pants and our tattered T-shirts. So it's great. I mean, I definitely like where SNK is going these past 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
They have definitely come. They definitely have come back. I remember when they went. I remember this right here. I remember I was like a young 18, 19-year-old kid, because I used to follow all the SK websites while when I was a kid, on Game Facts, or even like early days of like IGN, trying to find combos, how to like learn up, actually get frame data and learn how to play this game properly. And I remember how when they got bought out by Playmore and they got sold to a Chinese company, and I was like, SK is dead. And SK's website had a picture of Kyo and Rock and Kay and Rio and Terry saying goodbye, and I was like, devastated.
The feels.
I was devastated, and they're like, "Thank you for everything." I'm like, "What the fuck?" So I'm happy, because this actually happened during the Nest arc.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy that in 2001 they got a chance to finish out the story. I'm not okay with the ending, because someone else took over the writing for the ending of the game, and they made the people who actually won the tournament. Whatever, you can tell a story.
Okay, so yeah, no, because it's kind of a clusterfuck at the end. Like I said, I'm gonna paraphrase it, because there's King of Fighters 2000, there's King of Fighters 2000, what features Zero, who isn't the real Zero.
I'm not Clone Zero.
Huh?
Yeah, Clone Zero.
Clone Zero, like it's like what's the name of the leader of the Ikari Warriors? Like Hydern. It's like Hydern, it's me, Zero. It's like, I'm here to help you. And he's like, okay, cool. It's like, no. It's like, I'm not the real Zero. I'm the clone of Zero. I've been wearing this fake mustache. I've been wearing this mustache for years just to throw you off course. And I'm just like, oh my god, make it end. And like that's one thing I really, really did not like about that's the thing. The beginning of NES arc was going well, but this twist and turn. And then there's Ignis, where they fight in space.
Because space brings them there from Southtown.
Oh yeah, wait, yeah, did they destroy Southtown? Was this like the part where like Southtown gets fucking erased?
Eradicated.
Oh my god. How did you feel about that?
I didn't like it. I think Southtown's too important to be destroyed and they don't even acknowledge Southtown anymore, but they haven't. I guess it makes sense, because in Mark of the Wolves, they do call it New Southtown, so there are parts of the King Fighters that actually are canonical to Mark of the Wolves, but at the same time, no, Southtown bred all these amazing heroes, like Rio, Robert Garcia, Yuri Sakazaki, Takuma Sakazaki, the Bogart brothers, like T-Zoc, they all come from the Southtown area, and Blue Mary Ryan, and they just blow it away. but then like no one died. Nobody died for Art of Fighting or Fatal Fury. Like
Okay,
Bob Wilson.
they should. Okay, that's what I hate about. That's what I hate about when it comes to stories like that. It's like when a tragedy happens, they don't want to lose these characters, but at the same time, if these characters actually did die, it would actually have some impact. And I kind of felt like, as you tell right now, as you're telling me, if some characters would have died, it would have a more of an impact. And it like when they made Mark of the Wolves, it would actually benefit some of the story of Mark of the Wolves and stuff like that, being like maybe like Terry, like at the end of Terry's story, he goes to pay his respects to, I don't know, Duck, who was a casualty in the fucking nuking of Southtown. By the way, I really hate Duck.
King Fresh 11, he's part of the main team. So weird. But no, I mean, like, stuff is. I gotta say, out of all the arcs, and I know right now 14 just started their story arc as well.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, the Nest had the strongest start, but they kept falling every single time. I'm like, it makes no sense right now.
Yeah, even when it came to when they introduced like the leader of Ness, keep in mind, leader of Ness isn't Ignis; it's Ignis's father. And I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
like you see like a glimpse of him. And they're like, okay, like old guy with a blonde hair, beard. And I'm like, this could be interesting. It's like it's been a while since we actually got like an older kind of boss. And it's just like Ignis is like out of nowhere. Keep in mind, we have no information on Ignis. Like, keep in mind, almost every single Ness operative is always kept secret. The only time we actually got like glimpses of stories was actually from Zero and Chrysalis, and it was because of their absence it gave them story, it gave them a sense of mystery, and we actually, when we found out who they were, we were like, okay, that's an interesting twist. Fucking Ignis, we don't even know what he's about. He creates black holes and gives like fucking touch of death combos. Like,
all I know is that he's 50 years old. That's all I know about the guy, honestly.
Who's that guy with the lie? Like, I know there's Zero because in the final game they brought back like Team Ness. What was Zero, Chrysalis, and another guy who had white hair and had a lion. What the fuck is this?
That's actually True Zero. They had Kritzal, and they had Ron, and they had True Zero. True Zero had the lion in the white hair. And
so dumb.
And Ron is actually really important, but his story arc has not finished. They started it, and then they didn't finish it. It's been over 13 years.
Whoa, the lion has a story arc?
Ron.
Huh?
You know that?
Ron! Oh, that ninja guy, yeah. Oh, yeah, him.
He has a story arc that has not been finished at all, because his story is actually tied to Lin and also Sai Kenzo, and also...
Oh, okay. Wait, does he also, is he the same guy who's kind of after the psychic
the dragon spirit?
Yeah, the dragon spirit. Yeah, I know about that. I actually watched a video about the Team Psychic Warriors. What are they called? Psychic Squad or whatever?
Soldiers.
Huh?
Psycho Soldiers?
Yeah, Psycho Soldiers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Team Psycho. So I bet Capcom was just kind of like looking at SNK's like, the fuck is this? It's like, Psycho Soldiers.
Athena actually had a song in 1987 called Psycho Soldiers, and it was actually a small little hit in Japan. So she's also a right now.
Oh goodness. So the ending. So. Yeah, sorry. We will learn proper podcast etiquette next time, folks. Yeah, so the ending was kind of clusterfuck because the people who were there were the people who technically won wasn't a team. It was just a group of people because Ingus was so strong that it took the combined powers of K-Dash, Cooler, Cooler Whip, also Kyo and Yuri. And it was just like, this is not cool. We want, a proper ending. We want, like, it's supposed to be a team, but it's just like a whole group of people kind of like just ganging up on him. So like that's like that's how like it ended. Like all these guys teamed up, beat Ness, and that's it. And we never heard of Ness ever again until recently. But that's going to be near the end of this cast, though.
Okay. Well, there you go. I could take the Tales of Ash.
Oh, okay. Before you tell the Tales of Ash, I'm just gonna let you know that I am not too fond of time travel storylines. And
well, neither am I.
Huh?
Neither am I. I'm not either. So
yeah, Ash Crimson. Like I heard people were so like there's two sides in that arc of Ash, like of the story of like Ash Crimson and all that stuff. There's people who really loved it, and there's people who fucking really hated it. And a lot of people really did not like Ash Crimson. It's just because it just made things a little bit complicated. And some people felt that there would be retcons and loopholes after that arc finished.
So, the story of Ash Crimson, like every other thing, it started back in 2003 and ended about, I want to say 8 years ago. His story arc ended, and basically the story of Ash, he's a fire user from France, about 17 years old, and we don't know, but he's actually every new story arc has the hero team, air quotes around that, and Ash was part of the hero team. He was on team with Shenwu and Duo Luan, Ron's son, and these three actually entered the King of Fighters tournament, and they fought against those from the past. And at the same time, too, Kyo and the rest of the gang, too, like Kay is working with Whip and Maxima, and Kyo's working with Chizuru and Iori to form for the first time the Sacred Treasures team, because Orochi is being disturbed because those for the past, they want to claim Orochi's power, which is pretty nice because if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Orochi. So what they did, they went there, and long story short, right, the winners of this year of 03 was actually not Ash and his friends. It was actually K-Dash and his team. They defeated Mukai, who told K that you will never, ever be anything more than a cheap copy, and not even a good copy of Kyo Kusanagi. So during that time period, after Chizuru and Kyo and Yuri, they go down there to confront Mukai's already defeated. Ash Crimson gets there and he steals her treasure. He defeats Chizuru and takes her treasure and takes a mirror out of her body, and then he leaves with it. And then because without the mirror, Chizuru can't fight, so she's gone for the next game. Right now, like NR said, I'm going to paraphrase. Like unlike the Orochi saga, I'm going to just go through this one a lot quicker. In the next game, Ash is now basically more or less he's working with Shenwu now and Oswald, and Don Luan is now working with Benamaro and also with Elizabeth. They created something called the Rivals team, and the Rivals team, right, was basically people who had issues with Ash Crimson's team. Kyo, Iori, and Shingo Ibuki tags in because Chizuru can't fight while her powers. They go there to confront Shion and also confront Magaki, two more people from the past group. And so we then learn a lot more that Ash Crimson can actually, and he can make Iori. He led Iori to an area where it was high levels of Orochi activity, and he made him snap. Now, Orochi Iori is pretty powerful. He is leagues powerful, much more stronger than his normal self. Kyo being weakened from the battle with Mukai from winning. By the way, they won that year as well. from fighting with Mukai, right? He defeats Kyo soundly, slashes by it pretty good. He breaks Shingo's arm and breaks Shingo's collarbone, and Shingo's like basically lying there near death. During that time period, Ash Crimson, who sees Yuri, who's like wild and has like no real common sense right now, he comes and teleports using the power of Chihiro's mirror and takes his sacred treasure, the Yasakani jewel. Now, with that being gone, Yuri is now free of the Orochi curse, so that means that he can go out there, have a family, and not die young, and also not be tainted with the flames anymore. He loses all his flames. So then we go to King of Fighters 13, which was made about 8 years after.
It seems that we cut off again. Could you repeat that again? You cut off.
Bullshit.
Hey, you there?
About 7 years
sorry.
later.
Could you repeat all that? You cut off for a couple of seconds.
Which part?
After Iori, no, the beginning of King of Fighters 13. You said the King of Fighters 13.
Yep. So that one took like about 5 to 6 years to actually be released.
Yeah.
And they made it super anime, which is cool. It's a great design.
Oh yeah, the design was pretty sweet.
And what they actually did, they gave us actual conclusion to this story arc, which we then learned that Ash Crimson was actually a agent. That he noticed that those from the past need to be stopped, and he will not have Orochi come back to destroy the planet. So he took upon himself to basically create a time paradox by erasing his ancient ancestor so they can never exist. So by doing that, long story short, Team Japan reforms Kyo, Benimaru, and Goro Diamond. They reform, and Iori works with Vice Mature, who, by the way, died at the end of '96 because Iori killed them. They came back as specters. So he worked with them in order to reclaim his jewel and also to kill Ash Crimson because he wanted his power back. But they let them know, he was like, they say, hey, Yuri, if you take back your power, you will once again be controlled by Orochi to a degree, and you also will be, you will die young. Also, the woman that you marry and have a child with will also die at birth. Well, he didn't care.
Well, no, but this is the thing. His true love is the person he's been fighting all along, Kyo.
No, not even. Anyway. So, at the end of the story, Ash sacrifices himself to his ancestor. He loses. He defeats Psyche, who's the ancestor, and by doing so, everything goes back to normal. Iori gets his powers back. So does Chizuru. Shingo's still in the hospital because he's recovering forever, but he's training now with Saishu Kusanagi, and he saw a spark of fire. And then we could just jump over to King Fighters 14, where the current story is. The current protagonist of this story arc is Shinye, who has the power to control two elements. I think fire and ice. I'm not too sure. But
he has a stand. He controls stand arms. He's a stand user. So far, I've seen.
He's not really that engrossing of a character, but I want to see how they should flesh him out. This story arc here is pretty short because, once again, it comes from Saishu Kusanagi tells Kyo that he has to go enter because there's this creature entity named Verse. And Verse contains all the souls, basically, throughout the King Fighters universe, through many SNK franchises, though. And this SNK is going to bring more people into the King of Fighters because there are some games that will not work today. Like World Heroes will not work today.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The game is uber racist. And,
I thought you were going to be like, yeah, the game is so old, but what do you mean by uber racist? I'm curious. But no, we'll talk about that after the verse. We'll talk about characters and spin-offs.
Okay. So, for example, if you defeat Verse, use Nakaro from Samurai Shodown. If you beat Verse, if Verse beats her, you get different win quotes. And he states, because Verse is not but a collection of souls, she mentions that I will have you and Hamuro real soon, which retcons actually confirms that Hamuro exists in that universe across the whole plane.
Mm-hmm.
So if Verse defeats K-Dash, he says, "What did I tell you? You and the
Ah, crap! Not again."
crit cells in there.
Mm-hmm.
If Verse beats Kyo or beats Yuri, they mention that they will have their time on a planet, and you two cannot stop me ever again. If you defeat who was it again? If you defeat what is his name? Kim.
Mm-hmm.
Verse, there's reference to Shermie, Chris, and Yashiro. Now, the winners of that was Team Japan again,
Mm-hmm.
Officially Canada as well. And what happens at the end is Kyo, Yuri, and Chizuru go to Hungary and they seal Orochi away because he got released from Verse. So that's canon. So that means also during that same time period across the world, souls got released because they destroyed Verse's body. Kukuri and Elizabeth found Ash Crimson's body in that soul form.
Okay.
So
that's one thing I realized in the Ash Crimson arc. He made sure that he did not exist at all, so he's back. What doesn't make sense. This is the reason why I say time travel's bullshit. The whole
I mean, I get it because that's the only way that they come back without doing a dream match right now. That's the only way. Also the fact that Verse has been the collector, which he was actually referenced like in the old King Fighters manga in like the late 2000s actually. So I get it, and that's where we are right now currently with the story. Now the story, every King Fighters has a certain thing, and every King Fighters game we can always count on a couple things. Athena will always change her clothes in every game. She never wear the same thing twice.
That is true.
Every new story arc, right? Kyo will wear a new type of outfit. So you can always tell, like, hey, we got a new storyline going on. Look at Kyo's clothes. Like, okay, they're different.
Get Kyo's clothes.
Yeah. So now we got a new storyline to follow, and also we can always count on the fact that the Fatal Fury people and from Art of Fighting will always be there as well because they are total mainstays.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So overall, I love this franchise. I really hope when they make King Fighters 15 into 2020 that they actually fix things that 14 just didn't capture well. And I mean, the auto combo system I don't like in any fighting games. I think it's a shortcut that just leads to bad play.
Definitely. Yeah, no.
And I don't really care. I get it because my little son he plays and he's only like 5, but that's for him. I don't want an adult like mashing and think that it's going to work. It teaches like bad habits. So I want intros. I want to be able to taunt in this new game. I want better online play. I want to do a actual true online party mode when I can just jump in and say, hey, dude, let's let me call up NR right now and Soph will have us three against some other 3 nerds out there and just crush them. I want that to be properly fixed, and also I want this story to be like more fleshed out. The story right here is the least fleshed out story out of any King Fighters games far. I don't know what's going on right now. So that Verse said souls are not released.
Yeah, now come on Verse arc. You're starting to look like Shakespeare.
Seriously, man. Like I don't get it.
Yeah.
I will go in detail right now about like I said earlier about these other games in its K franchises like World Heroes and Kazuna Counter or Book Green 1 for a little bit. We could do this like some other time. We could go into more detail about the backstories, but these games like World Heroes will not be a good game in today's woke environment because that game said was kind of offensive.
Like how offensive?
90% from logs. 2 was.
Wait, you're cutting off again.
And you can have blonde.
Oh, you're cutting off quite often now. Is everything okay? Oh, God damn it. Cutting off.
Hello?
Yeah, you cut off completely for a good 20 seconds.
Sorry about that. That's weird.
Yeah, that's strange. Don't worry. I'm gonna try my best to clip some of this out, but but like I said, I'm definitely going to put a bit of intro saying that this is basically amateur basic bitch podcast. Yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah, you're saying what was the offensive part? Offensive things, because I completely missed that out.
No, I mean, they're just basically caricatures of a person's nationality.
No.
Think of people. It's like it won't work today, and I think that's why. I guarantee King of Fighters 15, they're gonna have Hanzo or Fuma in a game for sure. Hanzo and Fuma are actually the Ken and Ryu of that franchise. They're going to be in the game for sure, because I think War Heroes needs a little shot in the arm, and I think that it can't be its own game, because it's hard to sell a fighting game, a 2D fighting game, in SNK that's not the King of Fighters right now, and that's what I mean. Why make a Fatal Fury or Art of Fighting now when the King of Fighters just does this and so much more? So there's no point really, unless you can finish up these storylines though in that game itself. Now, there's actually one caveat there too. The Fatal Fury franchise, right? When they made Market Rules, which actually made one of my fourth favorite fighting game character of all time. That's Rock Howard. They made him in that game, and I think that game was done amazingly. That game was almost as immaculate. That was like the SK's answer to Third Strike.
Oh, it is. I was gonna say it is SNK's Third Strike. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Beautiful game, and Rock isn't even that great in the game, but I love the character anyway. He's total B tier, I think, in that game. And the game is great, but that game right there gave us a story that never got answered. And so once again, people love Rock Howard. He's so popular that he was in Capcom vs. K Part 2.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he only had one game. You know what I mean? His one game is just said, whoa, this dude's cool. When I see right, we got Samurai Shodown now. So, and that game is selling like wildfire. Everybody, I love the game. The game is doing great right now in esports. SK was surprised that they literally sold out of the game, and they couldn't make more copies to freaking sell out physically.
Jesus Christ.
Because fans wanted a new weapons fighter that actually rewarded you of being patient and doing actual proper footsies, and that's Samurai Shodown. But SK has another franchise that does weapons as well called The Last Blade. The Last Blade 1 and 2 is a really, really great game too. But once again, do we need The Last Blade if we have Samurai Shodown doing so well?
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's what I'm saying right now. So we don't need more Fatal Furies, more artifacts. We need to just continue with the King of Fighters and have it be our beat 'em up 2D fighting game, and then we can make and then Samurai Shodown could be one of the niche games. Okay, weapons fighter here, we got Samurai Shodown. Let's bring guys from Last Blade in here. Let's bring in Kaite or Morimiya or Hibiki, to this game and make them cool somehow. They'll make it work. I don't know how they'll do it, but they'll figure it out.
Well, that's well, I was gonna bring up though. Well, that's the thing about when you're a company with a lot of IPs, and it's either some of them get swept under a rug, or you just, stapled them on together. We all learned that from Capcom. Capcom kind of did the opposite what SNK did. They basically took a lot of their older IPs behind the shed and shot them.
It's funny because it's I'm a huge, I'm a huge fan of Cody.
Yeah.
But, Cody has only been in one. Okay, he's been in a few Final Fight games, but I said only one true Final Fight, and that's the one from 1989.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're cutting out again.
from being a hero to a convict to being a reformed man who's now the mayor of the town. Like, his story arc actually came full circle, and it's still going that way. Final Fight has not had a game in 14 years. The last Final Fight game that came out was Final Fight Streetwise, which was terrible.
Oh yeah, Zombie Cody and the brother of the. I think it's the brother of the guy you killed from Final Fight 1 was behind it all along. It was weird.
Yeah. Bella was in a really bad game. You could tell, and that was the last Final Fight game made, and it's terrible because like that Final Fight is one of the people. Okay, so there's a guy who actually makes the costumes actually in Street Fighter V. He actually made Final Fight. Ono went on record saying he wants to bring back Final Fight, if he can somehow. Yeah. Using current Cody, Hagar, and Guy. He said he wants these guys to go out there and do it again. But it seems like with Final Fight, they live in the Street Fighter universe, so you can just use them, willy nilly.
Yeah.
And that's where their home is. So with Capcom's like, we can't. I mean, does the world right now want another beat 'em up kind of game? They still sell, like literally in April we're getting Streets of Rage Part 4.
Yeah.
So these games will, and I'm going to buy it, for Steam, of course. Yeah. But these games still sell. So that's what I'm saying. Like with the King of Fighters, though, you could take an OIP, like someone from like Metal Slug, or like once again like Nakaro from Samurai Shodown was a King of Fighters 14, and people love. She's a great character, So you can bring people from the IPs and say, hey, it's go. You can work in this game. We know right now that we're not ready for a new game for you guys, but here is us saying that we didn't forget about you, Samurai Shodown. And that was the first step, because once you see today, Samurai Shodown is one of their best-selling games. Yeah. Because they actually understand the Unreal Engine now. King of Fighters 14 was their first time with the Unreal Engine. That's why the game looked like shit.
Dude. When I saw King of Fighters 14, I was like, no! I'm like, go back to the anime style. Go back. It was like painful in the eyes, man.
It's pretty. I mean, I don't really care about the graphics for a fighting game, but
I don't know. Well, I don't know if I made a fighting game with like stick figures. Actually, no, that actually exists, and it's actually pretty fun. But yeah, no, it was like kind of hard to look at. I wanted to bring that was that's actually kind of well, let's get the graphical design. If they made the King of Fighters in the same design as Samurai Shodown, maybe less, like Japanese art style, less like ink paint-ish, if that's considered a word, it would be really, really nice. Like,
I want to do something totally different. I want them to be a lot more fluid, and I want them to be a little bit like Dragon Ball FighterZ, if they can.
Oh boy, that's an animator's nightmare.
Not too bad, because I gotta play that. I mean, Samurai Shodown, right? They look great, but at the same time, though, like they look kind of swole. And SK, they're known for fluid animation. SK, they get animations. And Capcom does now too. Once again, I'm bringing up Cody again for Capcom. Mm-hmm. If you do any punch or kick with Cody and you let him reset, he does something different with his body.
Yeah.
Rock Howard as well too. If you throw a hard punch with Rock Howard in any of his games, he will fix his hair.
Yeah. I had a feeling you were going to say that, because I always realize that. Yeah, you cut out for a whole 20 seconds.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. But definitely, like I said, we'll get this fixed up.
Yeah, I'll fix my setup here, next time.
No, like I said, I'm gonna try I'm definitely gonna try my best to cut some of this. It's definitely gonna be pretty hard for me, just because we're over an hour and a half. But don't worry about it. That's my issue.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you're going pretty soon anyway. It's Saturday night, and it's my date night with my wife.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll make. I just wanted to. Yeah. Definitely so. Okay. So I just wanted to move on very quickly to. I really want to move on very quickly to character design, and the new mobile game what everyone is what just got released in the US, what is King of Fighters All Stars.
Oh yes, it's fantastic. I hate phone app games, but I'm obsessed with this game right now.
Same here. I hate phone games, and to be honest, the only phone game I recently just been playing just for out of boredom when my DS is when I could find it wherever it is in my room. I play like Raid Shadow Legends. I haven't spent any money on it, and I don't know. We all hear about Raid Shadow Legends because YouTubers keep on fucking spouting that game. It's the most boring fucking RPG I ever played for a mobile game. And the thing is that I hate gacha games because you know what a gacha game is. It's essentially basically random chance to get a character and all that stuff. But I don't know, it's because my love for fighting games or my love for beat 'em ups or how this game system's working though. But I really like I really like this game because it feels like you don't actually need to spend money to get good. It's just basically a lot of grinding, and at the same time, it actually follows the KOF story, and it keeps entertaining because you could actually do chain combos, you could extend your combos, you could actually have your team and all that stuff. Hell, they give you a free selection pass to pick your own character. Like, they give you a free ticket. It's like, oh, you just joined the game, pick whatever fighter you want.
That's a Kyo. Go, I want him.
You used your pass on Kyo?
Kyo 96.
Oh god, I just got that. I just got Kyo 96 today. The special that special offer.
So, I mean, you can break down the souls, make them like stronger as well. My guy is pretty beast right now.
Okay, no, I used my pass. I honestly used my pass to get Rugal. I was just like, I need my main. I need Rugal. So I just when I saw Rugal, I was like, K-Dash or Rugal? And I'm like, well, they don't have Chrysalis yet, so might as well just pick Rugal. And I got him, and he's amazing. Like, it's...
I saw today, actually, while we were texting, today over Twitter. So I Googled the KOF game in Japan, and they are literally getting the NES saga in like a month or so over there. So like, it's crazy.
Oh, I also saw, I saw some, I already saw like pictures. I actually saw like a trailer for Chrysalis, and god, stupid phone. It actually looks pretty good. Like I said, this game is just amazing. I love it. And I I think the FGC in general, like, I'm looking at people being like, everyone's saying the exact same thing. They're not into mobile games or gacha games, but this game is just like tons of fun. Like,
it's really fun. It's so much fun. Like, I didn't think that I would like it, honestly, but I was thirsty for some SNK love right now because I play a lot of Metal Slug as well.
Mm-hmm.
Metal Slug, what you call it, Metal Slug, that tower defense game, and I unlocked Kyo and Yuri. They're on my Metal Slug team, so it's really fun.
Yeah. But at the same time, it just makes you. It actually just you take a moment. It's such a fan service to like all the KOF games and all that stuff, and it's cool to see these characters again. I do have to admit, I was actually really concerned about how the game would feel, because usually, like, with gacha games, you have to spend, like, they try to make you spend real money to get good at the game, and that's always the issue. But I feel that because this game, it has like, if you do the story mode, you get a lot of rubies. You get like a ton of rubies if you do the story mode, and at the same time, they also give you other fighting modes, so you could actually get the upgrades you want or the characters you want. So, like, example, there's the tower mode where you could just like do the tower and get upgrades. There's also, what was it? There's also like a horde mode where you and your team, being controlled by an NPC, and you play your leader, fight you literally fight a horde and you defend like a bell or something like that. I just feel like, oh wow, there's variety. I'm not just beating up people majority of the time. There's actually cool mini games. I'm just like, this is pretty.
You can do like actually invite friends as well. You could do like you can invite your friends and also do like actual battle, right? PvP as well. Like, I got beat by some guy the other day who used Rugal, and I was like, stupid bastard, whatever. It probably was you cheaping me out.
Hey man, if you don't know how to dodge the Ryuken, that's your bad. That's just you not dodging, or just get dodging, good.
Okay. Screw you. Get good, really?
Get good. get good, Scrub. Like, you've been playing these games more than I have, so if you cannot dodge Ryuken, or better yet, if you cannot, and I say cannot block or dodge a fucking genocide cutter, that's your bad. You've been dealing with Rugal for fucking 20 years. What's your fucking excuse?